Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Business Coach, a show in which you out help entrepreneurs better their businesses. My name is Ian Dennis, and tonight on the show, we're going to be exploring the flexible workspace and the communities that are growing out of this. On the first half of the show, I'm going to be having a conversation with Michael Aldridge, who's the founder and CEO of Kofisi, based here in Kenya, with different particular locations around Africa. And after the break, I'm going to be linking up Michael to Ida, who's the general manager at Meta, to explore the future of the flexible workspace. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Michael, quite a pleasure meeting you finally. I know you've had a conversation via phone, but it's nice meeting you. And just coming here to Kofisi, this place looks so beautiful.
Thank you, but we're really proud of the outputs. It's been quite a journey to get to here.
Interesting. I think the space just looks so lovely, and just walking in, I was like, wow.
Thank
beautiful,
you.
Beautiful,
Thank you.
Beautifully done. So just take me through the name Kofisi. First of all, what exactly does it mean?
Well, you know, when we established us as we started, there was a critical principle about the way we want to operate, which is in a sort of collaborative force. So the whole concept for us about improving workspace in African cities that we operate in was about collaborating with local talent and international ideas, working with local businesses who are working with international businesses, working with local staffers and international. So the whole thing was very collaborative, and Kofisi actually is a combination of two words. It's Kashiri Kiana and Ofisi, which means cooperative office. You know, we're firmly an African brand, we're a Pan-African brand, so we wanted a name that evoked that kind of that kind of feeling when you heard it. We went through a long process to get to that place, but you know, it sets us apart from other people in the industry.
When did you set up? How exactly was the journey? Because I know you're in so many different African cities. Just take me through the genesis of the business. How did it come about, and how exactly did it spread all through?
The journey really was about thinking about, you know, something that matters to me a lot and matters to us as an organisation is that investing in people. It's about how can we stimulate better productivity, more work from better output from individuals. The most important part of any business is the people, and so investing in those people is an important part of growth. And so for us, that was about creating spaces that would make individuals feel proud to come to work, would stimulate greater mindset, it would create bigger output, right? But the most difficult part of the journey for growing an African business is that you're driving standards up, but you're also having to sort of forge the industry itself, because it's just not understood as a concept yet.
And last year, the pandemic was with us, and it's still with us, and there's a lot of disruption, and a lot of, in terms of the work from home culture has been reignited through the pandemic. I don't know how exactly has it been for Kofisi through this particular period of time.
On a corporate level, your ability to grow has been very, very difficult.
Yes.
It's been about survival. Peculiar to our industry actually has been that it's been a growth period, right? We've actually increased our numbers in terms of clients, space, centres, and so we've been quite blessed in that way. At the end of the day, I think what companies have learned are two things. One is that their people can be as productive through technology.
Yeah.
Two, though, that there's still a need to come together. You know, you still got to reaffirm your faith. You've got to come together. You've got to, you know, you've got to live your values. You've got to, you know, emphasize your purpose. And so you do need arenas or places to come together. And that has led to the idea that space could actually be seen more as a service than it is an asset.
What do you think reignited that? Because it's a very interesting trajectory that as Kofisi you guys are experiencing. Unlike, the traditional workplaces, I know the corporates within their within their offices, most of the employees are working from home. I don't know how exactly has it been that Kofisi has managed to, within this particular pandemic period, to increase the number of persons coming to work in-house?
There are particular areas of the industry, right? There's different types. I mean, broadly speaking, there's two types. There's co-working, which is where you've had a lot of, it's where individuals are coming together and forging a community together, sharing ideas, and giving them a sense of sort of professional environment. Takes them out of the attic or the cafe or the, you know, the basement, right, and brings them together. And that was the original movement earlier in the decade. As it's moved forwards, though, then you have enterprise, what we call enterprise flex, which is where you're talking about companies and their requirements. So companies are very different organisations and organisms, and they still need a centre of gravity. And so you know, what we've been is we're in that sector, which we've always felt is the stronger area to be, because it's more secure, more certain, and it's dealing with larger spaces for larger clients. And so that by nature, those businesses have still, in fact, if anything, there's more of them that want to now reduce and become more efficient from what they were in before.
You're targeting the enterprise, what's it called? The enterprise, and guys that are different corporates. Why exactly is that so? And traditionally in the working space, guys are targeting the individual clientele. What exactly informed your business model?
Well, two things. One was that I've come from a background in you know, what's referred to as outsourcing, which is a very developed industry in the UK, where companies would take effectively what they would call non-core services, and they would then ask experts to manage that for them, with a view that they would get process improvement and savings. So a typical example of that is something like payroll services, HR services tend to be outsourced to a professional organization, accountancy, right?
Yes.
So outsourcing as a model was something that I was always very interested in, and to that extent, we came at this market from an understanding of how corporates outsource, and we went to corporates to say, how are you handling your space? How are you going to grow? You know, we have space algorithms to ensure that we get the maximum use of the space, that we can blend facilities together. We understand the impact of color, fabrics, you know, light, all these things that can create stimulation. Those are expertise, you know. So we came at it much more from an outsourcing, as we refer to it, mentality, and we were able to talk to a lot of these larger companies in corporate terms and persuade them that this was the right thing to do. And here we are, so 8 years later, with 300 clients. So, you know, it's working, and I think that we've proven that, you know, there is more resilience in this model than perhaps the commentators suggest.
Take me through which particular African countries do you have Kofisis presence on, and why?
We started with the Eastern Zone, driven by the increase in mobilisations that were coming because of natural resources, and so, you know, with Nairobi being the powerhouse of, you know, the eastern coast, and we just grew out from there. I mean, the way our model tends to work is that we then follow with clients. So whether you're expanding, exploring, or even entrenching in a market, you know, we can help you. That was our plan. It was to build a stronghold on the eastern side, and we now have, you know, we have five centres here in Nairobi. We've got 3 more opening, so it's a very strong part of our business here. And we've got exciting expansion that's going to go on into Ethiopia, into Rwanda, Mauritius. We already have presence in Tanzania, and, you know, we have operations in Mozambique as you move further south. And then we went down into South Africa because, you know, that gives you an absolute sense of credibility when it comes to certain types of international brands. And then we worked our way around, so working our way around the clock. We're into the west now.
So it's east,
south, west.
Just take me through your mindset when you decided, I'm now leaving the UK, coming to Africa, and I'm coming to conquer. What is going on through your mind?
I've always enjoyed international travel. I've enjoyed spending, and I've had the pleasure of working in a bunch of countries around the world. And I was looking for something else that would give me that opportunity to travel. And it started really as an idea that I thought I could travel in and out, and I did do that for some time, which was probably to the detriment of everyone. I've always sort of felt that once one has a concept or one has an idea and there's a drive to deliver on that idea, the environment that you're operating in becomes your home, and that can vary from it being, you know, it could be your bedroom, it could be, you know, a rural location in the UK, or it can be, you know, the glories of working in a city like Nairobi. I mean, it's just so captivating to once you move here that when I look back on it now, I can't imagine why I ever thought I wouldn't have lived here, but also I feel like this is very much my home now.
What do you think is the future of the industry?
I think, first of all, like we've said, I think it's going to be a fantastic growth period for this sector. The statistics are very compelling in the sense of, you know, there's less than a quarter of a percent of commercial space here is in flexible workspace, whereas in other markets it's up to 9-10%. globally. So there's sort of, there could be sort of 20 times growth in this market just to catch up to where we were. Plus we've now got more people that want this space. So, that would suggest that in a 10-story building, you'd expect to see one story of that, right? One floor of that to be flexible working. That said, I think in the sector, those that will succeed are those that can continue to innovate. We've moved away from community events and it's much more technology-enabled services that clients want.
So on that particular note, you're going to take a short commercial break, but after the break, I'm going to be linking up Michael to Ida of Meta just to have a conversation around what the future does hold. So don't touch that dial. I'll see you after the break.